Friends, welcome back to another episode of the Findaway Podcast with Dusty. Hopefully you're doing well on your journey. I got a topic request recently from a story that I shared on Instagram, and it was in regards to injury prevention, because this individual actually hurt their back. So wanted to go over some things that I have done to really prevent injury. I've relatively been able to stay injury-free. The injuries that I've had have been something that I've cared for about a week and has since resolved. I guess the first thing in injury prevention is don't do too much too quick. Our body is amazing in its ability to do all kinds of things. But if we are so abruptly going to introduce something like lifting a weight that we haven't or doing something that we haven't, you're going to get injured just because your body's not used to it. Your body's not acclimated to it. It's going to go through a shock, similar to losing weight and everything else. It's important to give your body the appropriate amount of time to adjust and acclimate to what you're doing. So running, lifting, all kinds of things. It's all going to be gradual. So first tip in injury prevention: introduce whatever you're going to do gradually instead of all of a sudden. All of a sudden is the recipe for disaster and injuries. And so be very careful, be mindful, especially that. So now, recommendation number 2 for injury prevention: the proper stretching is going to be really important. So first, dynamic stretching to start. I just put a post up on Instagram about dynamic stretching. That is a perfect way to cycle or to initially start your workout. It starts with a ankle roll, to a knee rotation, to a hip rotation, to a shoulder rotation, to a neck rotation. You go up one side, down the other. So left leg, knee, hip, shoulder, neck, then back down to shoulder, hip, knee, and then the other ankle. That is a great way for warming up. Dynamic stretching. That's also recommended for runners. There's a little bit of a different dynamic stretches to introduce during running, but dynamic stretching to start is really important. Number 2, or the follow-up, is static stretching. What I did early on in my journey is that I static stretched to start. A good example of a static stretch is grabbing your foot and bringing it behind your thigh and feeling that stretch behind your thigh. That's something you should be doing post-workout, not pre-workout. What essentially happens is when you stretch out that particular muscle, you are essentially introducing blood flow to the area that you're stretching, and oftentimes you will not tax, but you'll overexert because of the static stretching. It's not like, hey, if I static stretch, I'm going to hurt myself, but you want to properly stretch to properly, prevent injuries. So dynamic stretching to start, static stretching to finish. Now, in regards to your back, the reason why oftentimes we deal with back issues, my lower back, my back hurts, is because we don't have a strong core. Core is so essential for stability. So this individual that say, hey, injury prevention because I hurt my back, well, there is a lack in the core that your body, that your back compensates for. So wherever your core is lacking, your back is going to make up the difference. So oftentimes when you see someone lifting improperly, they are lifting completely with their back, and then you see the formation of somebody squatting down properly, getting themselves positioned in a good and comfortable way. That usually means that they are properly moving themselves in a core focused lift, so that way your body lifts it, not just your back. Your back's going to still be involved, but you essentially want to reduce the load on your back by having a strong core. So core workouts are really, really important to do. Really a focus on core should be something you can do every day or every other day. There is push, pull, legs. There's a whole workout split. No matter what, I am incorporating core personally every single day. Today, it was on Planet Fitness. They have this little platform, And essentially you grab the handles up on top and you slide on this thing up. You slide up. It works the center abdominal area. It's fantastic. Kettlebells. Grab 2 kettlebells and go for a walk on the treadmill, or go in a circular rotation around the gym where you have 2 kettlebells on each side and you're walking. You can check the hashtag on Instagram. You can check YouTube for core workouts, but core is going to be essential for your body's overall stability. I myself, because I was carrying over 300 pounds excessively around my body, mainly around my midsection, I was always compensating with my back. I was always compensating in different ways that injuries to my back especially were very common. I struggled with lower back pain a lot when I was over 500 pounds. One big thing that I focus on is core, and that's, I think, a really main reason why I haven't really dealt with too many injuries, is that I have a strong core, I have a strong base, I have a strong stability. So you want to work on core, if not every day, every other day. Core is going to be essential. Find core workouts. You're going to prevent injury. When you have your lower back hurting, when your lower back is spent, it's because there's a lack of stability, a lack of core strength. Your body doesn't have enough strength in the core, so it compensates by going to the back. So make sure that you have a strong core, because that's going to prevent injury. Now, we've talked about stretching. We've talked about warming up and dynamic stretching. We've talked about having a strong core. We've had not doing too much too quick. Those are great examples. Hold positions are very, very good for injury prevention. What I mean by that, and you oftentimes see these in yoga poses that folks do. Not recommending you do yoga, but there are long hold stretches that you can do. As a great example, it's almost like the flamingo. You've got one leg up while you're slowly rotating the other leg back. It's this kind of back and forth of touching your toe with your hand, letting the other leg go back, and then rotating each leg back and forth. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're going through this stretch motion and you're going through this hold motion to where you're trying to actually slowly put your tip of your fingers to touch your toe while your leg is straight, while the other leg is slowly kicking itself back. The slower that you do it, the better, because what you're working on is stability. What you're working on is overall it's almost like an endurance test, but you're not running or on the Stairmaster or doing a typical endurance workout. You're essentially trying to endure the muscle to end up strengthening the muscle so that it ends up lasting, we say lasting longer. Like, the longer you're able to stand on your feet at work, the more acclimated you are going to have. Like if you have a desk job for a number of years, your body gets acclimated. I've talked about acclimation on a recent podcast. Well, same thing with you standing at work. If you get a standing job and you eventually get acclimated to it, it's not going to be as bad to stand because your body's going to get used to it. You want to get your body used to these hold positions. You can Google, you can, not Google, YouTube, same company. You can check the hashtags. Hold positions. Pilates is a great example. You can, hashtag search on Instagram, Pilates workouts at home. You can YouTube for free examples of that. All of those are going to be great for stability and are going to prevent injury. It's going to really, really help. So hoping I answered that question. About a 9-minute quick episode on injury prevention. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for the question, and I'll talk to you all soon.